Hello everybody, it's Hawk here with a deck list after months of not doing one. Hello Sky, my dog wants to come over here every time I start talking. Anyway, so I figured with the new box about to come out, I may as well show you guys what I've been playing since MPQ's been banned. I've not actually been playing Red Eyes Gear Freed, I just didn't really want to. I don't know, I enjoy all the other weird wacky stuff going on. If you can't tell, I like things that really need a skill associated with them. Yeah, even Wolfpack being generic doesn't work very well without looking into the future. That thing needs that. Off. Thank you. Alright, so to that end, I have been playing Slimey Disposition as one of my mainstays. I've thoroughly been enjoying this deck. Most of my matchups have been a combination of some variation of Vampire, Cyber Angel, and a very random assortment of other things. Like there's been a Dark Scorpion matchup. There's been I fought Whales recently. Yeah, the Whale Ritual deck was a little weird, but you know, whatever. Anyway, so I figured I'd let you guys see what I'm doing here, explain what my thought process is. Don't have any replays because I've been playing all these in person, but thought we'd have some fun. So obviously the skill is Slimy Disposition. It's the one that lets you special summon Humanoid Slime or Worm Drake, and then Fusion because this skill is fucking crazy. Okay? This is nuts. I don't know what else to tell you. This skill is sick, and I kind of wish the Moki skill took a little more out of this. Like, instead of once per duel, it was once per turn, but hey, we can't have everything. So, going through them, we've got our 3 of, which is Deity Warrior Lady. I thought about having Book in here, and for a while, I also had, like, Sphere Karibos. Honestly, the Sphere Karibos were never impactful enough for me to care. I didn't run into enough OTK decks for it to matter, so I threw them away and stopped caring about them and just went with DD Warrior Lady, who solves many, many, many problems. She's a CA answer. She pisses off the Gearfried people if they don't pop it. Just a nice, all-around, useful card. Never felt bad having her. And then we have the mainstays. We've got Slime and we've got Drake. Drake is the better of the two because the skill summons them in attack mode. So you want this guy. I mean, 1400 is not great, but it's something. So, where this skill really shines outside of just constantly recouping these idiots is in all the goofy normal support you get to run. No, you don't get to run Order to Charge, that tributes. You can, however, run Faustian Bargain, which hits a lot of things. As you can see, it targets a special summon monster. On either field, you send to the graveyard, and if you do, you get to special summon a level 4 lower normal officer from your hand. So a lot of times you'll wind up wanting to keep one of these fellas in your hand, not discarding them, because discarding them is fine, because you can special summon them back with the skill. Okay? So there's a reason to do stuff like that. But you want to keep one in hand because it keeps Faustian Bargain alive, and Faustian Bargain is fantastic, because then you can actually, like, tribute them for something. You can peek into the side deck a little and see maybe why you would like to do that. Because the skill only prevents you from tributing them if they were special summoned by the skill, not any other way, or summoned in a normal capacity. You will also notice that there is triple Heat Wave, thus why I have called this deck Slime Wave. You are not living or dying on Heat Wave, but you want this to go off. Because it utterly stuffs most decks. They end up having the set, you can spam out a whole lot of crap, and just go absolutely ham on something. It's very funny. The 2 Night Beams are not necessary, but they came up often enough that I was happy they were here. You can probably sub these out for MSTs now. The Night Beam is not strictly necessary. I just thought it was the best out of the options I had available to me. So I would definitely swap these with MSTs. United We Stand is fairly obvious. You can get a lot of morons on board. It's not hard. And then you can, of course, get them really big. You can either stick it on one of the fusions down here to make the fusion really, really big, or you can make the Drake appreciably large. 1 White Elephant's Gift, it's basically Pot of Greed for you, because it's a send, not a tribute, so you really do not care. If it's really bad, you could just plop a worm humanoid slime out, and then draw 2. Now, you are noticing I have Jar of Avarice in main. Yep. There's a lot of times where you will just want to fire everything back off, because the skill lets you effectively Ancient Gear Fusion, so one's from the field and one's from the deck, so it's really easy to get a bunch of morons in grave, and then, you know, you'll lose a fusion or whatever, so you wind up dumping a bunch of idiots back into the deck. It'll, depending on how this all works out, It's kind of up to you. I mean, maybe you pitch a DD Warrior Lady because you're a brave soul. Braver than I am anyway, and then you put her back in the deck. And then the last one's Waking the Dragon. You don't have to put Waking the Dragon in here, but it is a good singleton card. It works fairly good in game 1 or 2, depending on how fast the games go. Basically, this is just really nice to just plop that down because they don't really know what you're doing. This is a fairly aggressive deck and doesn't play any back row. Well, any set back row, as you can see. Everything here just sits in your hand, and then you fire off like a nutcase. But they don't necessarily know that game 1. And depending on how fast game 1 went, they might not know that game 2. So you can just leave that in here. If you would like to cut it, it's a very cuttable card. I haven't had, like, mind-blowing success with it, but it's Waking the Dragon. When it goes off, you kind of just win. As for the side deck, it's fairly tailored. It's Jinzo for the good old Red Eyes Gearfried matchup. It's Share the Pain for literally everything, because you don't really care. It's not hard to normal summon a guy and then tribute the guy, and then you could special summon it back with a skill and then still do your fusion. It's not a big whoop. And then Mind Crush is specifically for CA. I understand not everyone needs to decide this heavily for CA, but CA is extremely common by me, and so putting Mind Crush here is fine. You can substitute this Mind Crush with anything you feel appropriate. Widespreads, Sphere Karibos, DD Crows, Chow Size, kind of whatever you want, to be frank. I put Mind Crush in because it's kind of a decent card against a lot of things. And I think it's going to still stay a decently good card against a bunch of things. I mean, just ripping a card out of your opponent's hand is always good. What can I say? Extra deck is simple. It's 3 of these boys who are just vanilla idiots who are reasonably large and easy to summon. And then it's your Waking the Dragon targets. I mean, we could always debate about if Joker's worth it or not. I'm just saying we always know that it's Ojama King and Thousand Eyes Restrict is always good. But, like, I don't know. What else do you want to put here? This guy's a potential negate. And you tend to have a bunch of stuff in your hand, so it's not like it's hard to negate. I'm just saying. This is a potential negate, and he's fucking huge. Enjoy that. So, what are the problems of this deck? You get out-tempoed and die. That's the downside of this deck. This deck is an extremely aggressive deck. We are talking, you will Windmill Slam, generally either one of these two guys, discard something else in your hand. You generally don't care what it is 90% of the time. And then you fuse off into the dude, and then you special summon the Worm Drake back, and then hopefully your third card is Reunited We Stand, and you have an assload of damage on board. Now, are you going to OTK with this deck? Not necessarily, but it does happen. You can get in a position where you can just absolutely go ham, depending on how it all plays out. But really, what this deck is doing is constantly and consistently sticking a 2200 idiot and then backing it up with a bunch of irritating normal support, or drawing deeply to get something else, and then just going from there. Alright? Heatwave doesn't kill decks dead, but it does heavily screw with them. People who have floaters, Red Eyes is an easy one for this one, Baby Dragon is a floater, and Heatwave just kills it. You don't get to do that when you fire that off. And honestly, you are perfectly fine just firing that off all the time. Oh no, I can't summon DD Warrior Lady. Here's a tip, you don't give a shit. Oh no, my humanoid Worm Drake has been floodgated. You will White Elephants gift it. You don't care. Or you just tribute him. I mean, there were times where I had to do that. There were games where I had Worm Drake out, I was alive, because they couldn't quite get over him, but I wasn't getting, like, there was way too much back row. So what I wound up doing is, I fucking tribute him for Jinzo. There's times where you'll just do that. Normally you'll have Jinzo and another card in hand, and the drawed card is like Night Beam or something, and it just doesn't do anything in the situation you're in. So you'll special summon one of the guys out of the grave, and then you will fuse off into that, and then you will tribute the humanoid Worm Drake for Jinzo. It's not a common play, but it happens often enough that I felt it was important to bring up. Because Jinzo just solves problems. We have so many good traps, and that's not stopping with the new box. But in the old box, I mean, Blast with Chain was everywhere, and honestly, Jinzo fucks some stuff up. That's really all I have to say. Now, obviously, he is conflicting with Heatwave, but Just don't activate the heat wave if you want to summon Jinzo. I don't think that's a complicated thing to do. It's just me. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. Like I said, you can get massively out-tempoed, and that's what kills you. Also, things that are really, really big. I did not mention that part, but yeah, things that are really, really big. It's kind of what Mind Crush is for. You're trying to stop them before they get there. But once they're there, you're sort of stuck with Faustian Bargain and Share the Pain as your outs. And they're not bad outs. I'm just letting you know that and, you know, crashing a frickin' Warrior Lady into it is not exactly ideal. But hey, you have answers, and you have unique answers that most people aren't be playing around. Like, who the hell's playing around this? No one expects that. Some people expect Share the Pain. It's not the most common card, but it's there. But it's nice that you get to... I just realized this blood is blue. What the fucking censorship? Fucking TCG censoring, good lord. Blue blood. Oh my god, my Kool-Aid, bro. Sorry. Random tangent. Anyway. I very much have enjoyed playing this deck the past couple of months. It's been fun. And I hope you guys enjoy it too, because honestly, I don't see it suddenly being bad in the upcoming meta. It's not necessarily going to be mind-blowing, but it wasn't exactly mind-blowing this time around. And honestly, Neos kind of plays around this shit. But, hey, you know, I enjoyed my time with this deck, and if this was its one hurrah, I'm okay with that. But, hey, you guys go and tell me what weird builds you came up with this thing in the time. Whatever weird stuff were you playing after MPQ died in a fire, as it was justifiably so. Wow, that was an English sentence. What were you playing after MPQ died in a fire, as it so should have? That's what I was trying to say and not what I said. Holy crap, what is wrong with me today? Anyway, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment below, all that wonderful stuff. Peace out, everybody.